coated the hill like a thin layer of frost. Above them, the stars appeared as tiny pinpricks of distant light, piercing through an enormous black veil. Jake slowed for half a second. He didn't know why. Something about that light made his skin crawl. It didn't feel like moonlight. It felt like the kind of light that belonged over a grave, like a funeral shroud stretched across the earth. Neither boy stopped. The path split around the hill. They could have gone left or right. Instead, still running, they charged straight over the top. Jake's foot caught on something. He stumbled. His stomach lurched as he nearly went tumbling down the other side. Aiden stumbled too. But they recovered. The trail continued ahead, straight into the trees. Neither boy suggested stopping, even though the hill was brighter. Neither of them wanted to remain there. Something about that place made Jake desperate to leave. He was almost relieved when the darkness swallowed them again. Then Jake saw something. Or thought he did. A figure. Tall. Dark. Standing between the trees. He turned his head. Nothing. Just branches. Just shadows. Then another. On the opposite side of the path. Two bright points seemed to stare back at him from the darkness. Eyes. Jake blinked. They disappeared. He kept running. Another shape appeared. Then another. Tall silhouettes. Watching. Always just beyond the edge of his headlamp. Never close enough to see clearly. Never far enough to forget. Jake's breathing became ragged. He stopped looking directly at them. He didn't want to know what they were. He didn't want to know whether they were real. But the longer they ran, the more certain he became. Something was following them. Not walking. Not running. Following. Jake looked back. Nothing. He turned forward. A few seconds later, he looked again. And this time, he saw it. A dark shape moving between the trees. Loping. Keeping pace. Just beyond the reach of his light. Jake's heart slammed against his ribs. He turned forward again. He ran harder. Whatever it was still there. Every time he looked back, it seemed a little closer. By now, Jake was certain of one thing. They weren't running toward the other cemetery anymore. They were running away from something. He never saw the fence. 1 second, there was nothing ahead but darkness.
The next, metal slammed into his chest. Jake crashed into the fence at full speed. The impact knocked the air from his lungs. He fell backward onto the dirt. Aiden nearly collided with him. Jake! Jake scrambled upright. His hands shook as he looked ahead. A metal gate stood directly in front of them. It was latched shut. Beyond it was another cemetery. They'd made it. They had actually reached the other side. Aiden grabbed the latch. His fingers fumbled with it. Once. Twice. His hands wouldn't cooperate. Come on. He pulled. Nothing. His fingers felt numb. Like his brain was sending commands. And his hands simply refused to listen. Jake looked behind them. The trail disappeared into darkness. He couldn't see anything, but he could hear it. A sound. Soft at first. Then louder. Closer. Thump. Thump. Thump thump thump. Thump thump. Something was coming down the path. Jake's blood turned cold. The rhythm was wrong. Completely wrong. No human being ran like that. No animal he'd ever heard moved with that strange, uneven pattern. Jake didn't dare turn around. He couldn't. He stared at Aiden's trembling hands. Come on. His voice cracked. Hurry. Aiden pulled desperately at the latch. Jake. It's right behind us. Jake screamed the words before he could stop himself. His voice came out high and terrified. The sound behind them grew louder. Thump. 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 Closer. 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 Jake squeezed his eyes shut. He didn't want to see it. Whatever was coming. Whatever had been following them through the woods. He didn't want to know what it looked like. He could hear its footsteps now. Almost directly behind them. Jake's breathing stopped. Aiden still couldn't open the gate. And then Jake felt something change in the darkness behind him. The footsteps stopped. Right there. Just beyond his back. He kept his eyes closed. He didn't move. Neither did Aiden. For one terrible second, the entire cemetery fell silent. And Jake realized something far worse than being chased. Whatever had followed them had finally caught up. The latch finally gave way with a sharp metallic click. The boys burst through the gate. Jake slammed it shut behind them and stumbled backward, staring at the thin iron bars as though they could somehow keep whatever had been chasing them on the other side. For several seconds, neither boy breathed. Then they looked back. Nothing. No creature. No glowing eyes. No movement between the trees. Just a small clearing behind the cemetery. Jake's stomach dropped. There was no path. None. The trail they just sprinted down had simply disappeared. He stared into the darkness. Had the path turned somewhere? Had they missed it? How had they reached the second cemetery so quickly? It should have taken much longer. His heartbeat pounded violently inside his ears. His hands were trembling. His entire body felt wrong. I wish we hadn't done this. Jake barely recognized his own voice. It sounded weak. Shaken. Aiden stared at the gate. This is for Casey. But there was almost no confidence left in his voice. Then he forced himself to smile. Come on. The monster. He swallowed. It wasn't real, right? That was just our imagination. Jake looked at him. Did you see them?